Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Eva G. Reborns. We are on installment number 8 of Reborn Honey. Let's see what we can do to get her to where she needs to be, her mid phase. I'm going to take my number 4, which is what I call a medium brown, and I'm going to go in the middle of her face, all over the middle of the face. Not quite to the border, but all around the middle of the face. And we're going to see how this all works out. So I'm going everywhere. Going to try to avoid her lips. Okay, I want to try to avoid her lips, but I want to do everywhere else, and I want to be certain that there's no real excessive paint. And we're going to bounce around, okay, with our Swispers sponge and see if we can get our dear sweet honey looking like the beautiful girl she is supposed to be. Okay. Okay, I have just a little bit of pooling in her eyelid folds. So I want to take that out and on one of the corners of her eyes. So I want to make sure. Okay. And we're going to let honey dry. Now her limbs, we're going to go ahead with another layer of the medium brown, and then eventually we're going to build up to a deeper color. But for right now, these are the colors that we're going to use. Okay. So I am just making sure to get any excess paint out of the brush, because that can cause pooling on our kit, and that's not something that we want. Okay, so I'm going to go across her hand, all over her hand. And remembering to be mindful of the borders. And then we can go right on ahead and pounce with our Swispers sponge. We'll do 2 limbs on camera, and I will do 2 limbs off, and then I will come back and we can do Honey's head again, face again. With it, that's the wonderful thing about air dry paint. You can pretty much go layer upon layer rather quickly because it dries rather quick, and maybe it dries in minutes. You can kind of touch it, But I like to give it maybe 20 minutes in between layers so that, I can be more certain that it's dry. I mean, that's what I like to do. And we are going to just go through all of her arm here. She has the cutest hands. Her fingers are so cute. So, yeah, I like the way they look. Again, I go around in like many kind of like small circles so that there aren't any rough edges. Everything kind of has a soft edge, a blended, nice edge. At least that's what I strive for, you know. And and just clean out any excess in the creases. Okay, look at that beautiful hand. Her hand is so pretty. I like it. I like it. The way her palms look as well. She looks so cute. So cute. So cute. So we will do her foot, her leg. Okay. These cankles. She has the fattest feet. They are so cute. They're fat though. They are so fat. Okay, so her toes are really pretty. Look at those nails. She has beautiful nail beds. Really beautiful nail beds. I'm happy that so many of you are returning for the series and are getting something positive from viewing the series. Our baby Kato, um, we went live talking about mapping his eyebrows and his head for hair. So we did the mapping live. And pretty soon we will actually be rooting Kato. Wow, he is coming along, coming along, coming along nicely. Once we root him, and then we glue the hair in place inside his head, and that dries nicely, then we'll be able to put Kato together on his body. And that should be fun to see him come together, come to life, be born. That's going to be nice. That's going to be fun to see that. Good morning. So that's going to be fun to see him come to life. And shortly after Kato, we should be able to finish up with Honey and then be able to bring her to life. I think we're going to make Honey similar complexion to Kato. I think that would be nice. We can make her a similar complexion. Going inside the crease, the bend of the knee of the leg, being sure that it's pounced down and that there is no pulling. I'm gonna go across the knee. She has these fat, chubby legs. It's funny, her legs are, so chubby, but her arms aren't. That's funny. But I think, it will look fine together because that's how they came and they belong to her. So, that's the thing. We will be, I'm looking forward to finishing up with our beautiful honey. And I'm thinking of, I mentioned to you before about doing, painting a toddler. Um, so yeah, I'm thinking about that. Um, Painting a toddler is slightly different than painting a newborn. In some ways, it's easier because you don't have to do certain types of details. Whereas with the newborns, you're doing lot more, kind of like the modeling and different things to kind of get that um, new baby look. So whereas with a toddler, that's not something that you're looking for. Um, the only thing with a toddler is you have a larger head to root. Look at her. Look at her legs. See, this is what I'm talking about. How chubby her knees are, her feet, her cankles. We're going to also go over her soles of her feet as well to deepen them up just a little bit. But we'll do that at a little bit later time. Let's see, a little speck of something right here on her. Okay, I'm going to do the other limbs off camera. I would like to show you the color difference between our baby Kato and our honey. There is so we have to build her up quite a bit to get her to where Kato is. We have to build her up quite a bit. This is another pretty hand of hers. The fingers, they're so expressive. They're so expressive. I came back on before I finished doing the foot off camera, but that's fine. We'll do the foot on the other foot. We'll do the foot on camera. I really enjoy, painting. Reborning, I really do enjoy it quite a bit. I was speaking to someone on yesterday and they said, I didn't know you made dolls. I didn't know. I said, I guess it never really came up. I said, I just started making dolls. I said, but I've been a collector for years. So, I guess, when people, they don't know, they don't know, um, because sometimes it's not something that comes up in, readily comes up in a conversation, you know, um, you know. So then I gave the history of reborns and what the blank kits look like and how you take them from the blank kit to reborning them and bringing them to life. I went over the early history of how back in the what was it, the 80s and the 90s, where women were going to stores and buying manufactured dolls, or they were finding them secondhand, and they would strip the paint off and then they would paint them again and make them look real, and that's where the term reborning, you know, came from. And then over some time, Bountiful Babies owner, uh, Denise Pratt, that's what she was doing. And she said to her husband she wished that she could just have like the dolls where they were blank and she didn't have to strip them, to be able to paint them. Okay, be careful. And wouldn't have to strip them and paint, to paint them. And somehow or another, her and her husband, they were able to um, make the kits, get the kits made. Other people, other women who were interested in reborning were purchasing different things from her. And then they wanted to know about, you know, kits and things like that. So that's how Bountiful Baby, one of the largest doll, um, doll and doll parts and, you know, everything that you need for doll making came about. And they are a very, very nice company. It's family owned. All of their children are part of it. The husband, the wife, part of it. They're on YouTube. You can see some things about them on YouTube. When you go to their website, they are very affordable. They have good quality items. If you purchase $100 worth of merchandise, shipping is free. And the lovely thing about them, they're always running sales, always running sales. Sometimes the sales are 20%, 40%, 60%. Sometimes it's a 40% sale on, what do you call it, site wide. Then sometimes, different things are on sale. They have everything. They have kits, they have the bodies, they have eyes, they have zip ties, they have paints, they have um, heat set paints. They don't have the air dry paints that I like to use. Um, but they do. They have a lot of things, and they have real born kits that are, a 3D. They take a 3D picture of a real baby, and these babies tend to be family members of Denise Pratt and her husband. These are like family members or friends of the family, or something like that, and they make them into dolls, into kits, and they are very detailed. And then there are some kits that are artist kits that are, one of their artists, including Denise Pratt, will come up and make a design. You know, they will sculpt a body and legs and arms, and that will become a kit. So they're very, very good. And then there are other companies. You have Irresistibles, which is also a large company. You have Dolls by Sandy, which is another company. And many of these companies have been in business for like 2 decades. So when people say about reborn dolls, it's like, what? Yeah, they've been in business. They have been around for a long, long time. And then there are maybe some other companies too. Um, so I like dealing with them. And since I'm just kind of starting out, getting my feet wet, so to speak, I like to get my kits from Bountiful Baby. They are, affordable in quality, and they have some really cute kits. Um, Now, if you go with McPherson, which is, what is it, out of Canada? McPherson's, they have some lovely kits, and they have sculptors that you may have heard of, as well as Irresistible. They have kits from sculptors that you may have heard of, as well as Dolls by Sandy. Like they may have sculpts by uh, kits by, say, Ping Lau. They may have them by Bonnie Brown. They may have them, by a lot of different artists that you may know. Marita Winters. Um, have a lot of kits by, artists that are very well known, and their kits are beautiful. Now, those kits, they do cost more, and that's fine. That's fine. Um, and I have my reborns that I had purchased some years ago are from kits that are from artists that are well known. Laura Lee Eagles, and oh, it escapes me. Laura Lee Eagles, and I have another kit from I can't think right now. But in any event, they're beautiful kits, beautiful reborn dolls that were reborn by, another artist, Kimberly of Kimberly's Cocoon, and they're beautiful. However, I find that the kits that I'm reborning, even though they're by um, lesser known artists, I think that they are just so adorable, so beautiful. I think that they are really, so it's just up to what, a person wants to do. Like I said, since I'm starting out painting, I find that going through Bountiful Baby, is of an affordable, good thing. They even have the what do you call it? The polyfill. They have fat pellets. They have a little bit of everything that you actually need for the dolls. Now, the thing is, you just have to kind of shop around and see who has the best prices, um, you know, the glass beads, different things like that. Uh, you have to kind of shop and see, you know, who has it. Some things I get from Amazon because it's quick and I want it like now. Um, because some things, depending what it is, I can get it the same day or the next day, or the 2-day delivery. So sometimes and of course, by me being a Prime member, I'm not paying anything for shipping and all of that. So sometimes I'll get certain things from them, and then I'll get certain things from Michael's craft store. I'll get things from them too. Um, like I've gotten my Liquitex and gel from them, and I did get some polyfill from them, and different things I've gotten from them as well. It's just kind of like about shopping around, maybe seeing where you can get a good deal that's quality. Um, Cheaper does not mean that it's less quality. You can just have a little bit more bang for your buck depending on where you go and get things. Um, and it's it's just what you feel comfortable, what you want to do, you know. Now we've gone with 2 layers of this brown four and our beautiful honey in her mid face, and it's going to take a little bit of building up to kind of get her where we want her to be. Okay. Um, I think we can get her. I think we can get her quite nicely. We'll be able to build her up. You can see, she's getting a little bit darker in that mid face. And we're just going to take our time and build her up slowly. Just build her up slowly. Because if we can get her similar, to Kato, that would be great. That would be great. We may or may not be able to get her quite the same um, as our handsome Kato, but it is very much possible to get her close to Kato in any event. Kato, as you know, I think is a beautiful, beautiful kid. He is from Bountiful Baby. He is a lovely kid and he has lovely limbs as well. Kato is the Kate kid, uh, which is a girl. But when I looked at I was like, it looks like a boy. I think he would look very nice. I think it would look very nice to reborn as a boy. And I don't know. When I look, all I see is boy. That's all I see. And he has some of the most beautiful limbs and feet and toes. He looks so lovely. Um, I'm kind of waiting for Honey's limbs to dry as I'm showing you, baby Kato's, his limbs. And he has lovely hands too. And his nail beds are very nice as well. Very nice. So we'll be putting baby Kato together. Um, well, we'll be rooting him and then we'll be putting him together. And his legs and his feet are just so cute. Just so cute. His little soles of his feet, his toes, his legs, the way they look, his nail beds. Kato is an adorable baby. He's an adorable baby. He has nice nail beds. And I'm grateful that I was able to achieve tipping his nails in a way that I feel looks natural. So he is adorable. I would like to make another Kato. It's so funny. Some of the dolls I want to make again. I want to make Kato again. I want to make Lillian again. I like Sonic. I'd like to make her again. Um, all of these dolls, I keep wanting to make them again, but I am branching out to other dolls as well to make. And that would be nice. Like I said, there's a toddler that I'm interested in making. Um, and my my stand that I hold my limbs on would hold her well because this particular stand, I made with dowels myself. So they're longer. The dowels are longer because I do use mug trees, as many of us do with our dolls. And for their heads, what I like to use the paper towel, paper towel holders. And that works quite nicely. So I'm thinking if I do the toddler, or eventually when I do the toddler, I'll be able to put her limbs on this rack here, and I'll be able to put her head on the towel rack and be able to do her that way because you figured she's going to be much larger, much larger. So I have to really think about think and give it some more consideration if I'm gonna when I'm gonna do this toddler. So let's see. We have to wait a little bit more to paint the limbs. I enjoy watching Reborn Rap. They come on twice a month, the first and the 15th. And today is November the 1st, and they're going to have a special guest from the Yofi Doll Show, the Reborn family, it says. And the host of this particular podcast is Lisbeth Devling. And Lisbeth does some beautiful painted hair. She does beautiful painted hair. She even has a tutorial, a paid tutorial. And then you have Janie Scott. She is of the West Coast Doll Show. And they both are reborn artists. So, and they both have done prototypes, which is very nice, very nice. So they're on YouTube, and it's the 1st and the 15th of every month. I have my, I have it set for on my notifications so that when it comes on, I can look at it, while they are live. I really do enjoy it. E, E, excuse me, Emily of Eborns. She used to be the host along with Lisbeth. But there was so many different things that were going on with Emily. She had, unfortunately, one of her pets, her dog passed, and her dad had been ill. And, there was a lot of different life changes that were going on. So she took a step back from the podcast. Now she has but she hopes to come back again to it. She's very busy with so many things as well. So I do enjoy, again, like I said, this podcast. They talk about a lot of different things all around doll making. Reborns, and they have different people on, like they had the owners from Irresistibles. They had, oh, I forgot to mention Trueborn. Trueborn, yeah, I forgot to mention Trueborn because Bobby, she's big in the business as well, and she has a lovely website, and she sells many things too also that we need for reborning. I forgot about her. That's what happens when you start mentioning names and you didn't maybe I'm not going by any script or anything. So, so that's what happened. That's why I didn't recall. Let's see, can I do any painting with our no, I can't. I don't think I can do anything. They don't they're not dry enough. So what I will do is I'm going to say that I will come back once their limbs have dried, once Honey's limbs have dried, and we will go continue with her mid face and everything working on her. I think that she may be coming along, pretty good. And little by little, little by little, little by little. And yeah. So, what I would like to say is like, comment, subscribe, and share. And enjoy your day. Come back really soon. Peace and blessings.